Tuia tātou te tangata ki te kaupapa o te huminei, ki te kaupapa o te rangirei, mauri ora ki a tātou katoa. Bind above, bind below, bind within, bind without, and bind us to the purpose of our meeting, the purpose of the day, and bring some life into us. Housekeeping, probably don't need to worry about that, you know, the toilet site, and someone else has joined us in Zoom. Yes. Grant. Oh, Grant, of course. Kia ora, Grant. Welcome. We've got an apology from Councillor Butler, but I think that I should be cheering. Are somebody happy to move the apology? Are there any other apologies other than Celia? Wayne's happy to move?
Stay come, you know.
Oh,
Anthony's not here. Rugby.
Has he sent an apology? Oh, okay. Not too long. Well, someone's having a second apology. All those in favour, please say aye. Against carried. No members in the public forum. Welcome. Are there any declarations of interest? No late items, and we needed confirmation of our minutes. The minutes of the committee meeting held on Tuesday, the 10th of September, 2024. We're confirming was a true and correct record of the meeting. Yep. Someone happy to move them? Thank you. Someone happy to second? Yep. Thanks, Wayne. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Against carried. And which brings us to our first report, which is the next step being hopefully the second to last step in the Mohua MenzShed process. Morning, Anthony. Margot, we'll hand over to you for
okay.
Report is read, everybody will have read it, and if there's any little key points, perhaps.
Can everyone hear me? I offer the report as read, and am very pleased that there were 17 submissions, all very much in favor of the MenzShed going ahead as the current owner and hopefully or potentially the lessee for the piece of land under the former Scout Hall. Any questions, please?
Margot, any comments or questions of Margot? Been a few times around the sun with us, and I think so. The resolution is that we're going to receive the report, and we will have all considered the 17 submissions, and that we recommend
to the full council, whether you're in agreement or not.
Yeah, I was just ready to see whether usually it's a recommendation to council is included in the recommendation, but I see that that's not there.
Sorry that I left that out. Okay, it just says recommend. Sorry, yes.
Yeah, so adjust the resolution here, right? Can we adjust it to say that we recommend to full council?
Yes, that's what it should say.
Thank you.
And these reports, I do my best, but I always find it humorous. These go through the traps of 3 or 4 people, and somehow we all miss that. So we all apologize.
I've read a few of them, so you know, just sort of get used to it. So we're looking at a term of 10 years.
Yes, 5 plus 5, but after the first 5, they must demonstrate that they have at least the 10 members that's required of an incorporated society, 10 active members, and I believe we've asked that they also demonstrate or just tell us that they are using the building every week.
Sometimes people think council are a bit mean and you try to control us and pick us out, but really it's about just ensuring that groups are still functioning with the purpose that the lease was intended. So that's more the with that, and I think the report made clear. Oh, apologies for the lateness. Oh, good.
Yes, it's not meant to be Big Brother at all.
No, it's not. And so I think because of the investment that's going into the scout thing, it's good that we've got an extended approach to that. So
And the end of the 10 years doesn't mean that they have to leave after that, of course, or move the building. We simply have a policy these days of keeping more concise lease tenures so that we stay in better touch. And in case there's any major legal changes in the general leasing arena, it just enables everyone to be able to update things and stay in touch better. That's all.
So I guess it also stops what happened previously with that building being subleased.
yeah,
Yeah, and just getting on top of that.
it's getting passed on to someone else and then we don't quite know who's using it for
Yeah.
what. But we've improved our understanding of all of the community buildings and who's doing what and why and how. And I'll just say that what a great result. I mean, it was a shame we went through the first process of, but it seems sort of perfect in a way, doesn't it, that that group would be able to pick up a building that's, and do it up and to have some space there. And so thank you, Margot, for your contribution and liaising between Scouts and the group. And
A pleasure.
anything else about that?
They just do a lot of community stuff too, don't they?
No, they
I mean,
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah.
And I understand that they've also discussed offering the space to other community groups and even a women's craft group, which I thought was wonderful from time to time.
Women might even use some of those power tools, eh?
Exactly.
Money then?
Is somebody having to move the resolution?
Yeah.
Thanks, Clarissa. And a second? Thanks, Duncan. All those in favour, please say aye. Against, carried. Thanks, Margot. Good result there.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Brings us to Mr. Rob Coleman, your activity report.
Good morning, sorry for being late, Chris. Sorry we didn't get your coffee, I haven't got you.
Yeah, that's the worst part of it.
Let's rectify that before we go home. Very sorry, Chris. Yeah. Well, I can take the report as read, and I can read through it briefly, providing an update to the Golden Bay Rec Park Committee. Good to see you again, Anthony, Duncan, been a while, Wayne, been a while, Marie. And somebody I haven't met. Janet, that's right. Just in, Fred. So, let's move swiftly on. Recommendations that the Golden Bay Rec Park Management Committee receives the Golden Bay Rec Park Activity Report.
Yeah. Good. We'll probably do that.
Yeah, sweet. I'm out of practice, Chris.
Yeah.
It's been a while. New floors have been recently installed in the changing rooms. The original ones were very slippery and posed a health and safety issue. I don't know if my lovely colleague Tony Strange wants to speak some more about that.
No,
or
I'd
Amanda.
like to go and have a look at it though.
Yeah, they're just putting final coats on today,
Oh, are they?
tomorrow and
Okay.
next day, yeah.
Yeah. clear.
So after the meeting, we can have those of us that haven't seen it, we'll have a look. We're gonna have a look at a few things that people are able to stay off the meeting. A few things on the park, conversation to have around
And then we've got
storage.
sorry. The washing of the exterior of the recreation centre being programmed should be completed before the meeting.
Is,
In progress.
yeah, in progress.
Also carried out maintenance to some of the lights inside the main stadium.
And the progress.
In progress, right. Sweeping the car park has been completed.
Correct.
Correct, got one light.
I'm just waiting on a quote to reline my front faulties.
In the car park.
Yeah, it's just one.
You probably want
He's
to
done
change
them,
it
he's
while they're
done
doing
them,
their
they
stuff.
are.
Yeah,
Because you don't have to pay this separate.
no, I thought we'd actually arrange that, pre-Christmas,
We
but,
did.
okay, but, it's, we'll get back onto that, because there are some things that we looked at around, back of the grandstand. So I
Right.
want to make sure that happens.
So we don't think of we don't think the timing's fitting with Boots Hill.
No.
No.
I'll give the guy a call.
I think it fell off their radar.
Oh, I see. It's in my, I will give the guy a call today, you sent me his email, his number.
And will we just find out from them if there's something else they're marking in the next week
Yeah,
or two, or
yeah.
something that we're not
That's
aware of at the
exactly what
moment?
we did with the sweeping.
Yeah, great.
Timed it all in, so yeah, we don't want to pay too much more than we have to. There's a crew over here, we'll get it done with their head.
Cool, thanks.
Item number 4, the Golden Bay A&B show. Held on the 18th of January. Approximately 4,000 people enjoyed the bay's largest single day event. Great picture if you don't.
Oh,
yeah.
Same shoot every
Look at
year.
that.
Is it?
Same shoot.
Oh, that's a very second.
Yeah.
So good.
Excellent. St John's Ambulance Building, I rang them, I think it was last week, Sandy Little. And again, they're passing it through their various meetings. And she said it'll have to go before their AGM. I think if it drags on a bit longer, we'll see what we can do to chivvy them along with.
Yeah, be good to get that, so get that resolved. So that's just a matter of their processes and going way up their
So
line, I
under the
suppose.
terms of the lease, the last line on the lease agreement was that either you take your improvements, namely the building, with you when you leave, or you hand them over to council.
And what's required for them formally to hand them over to council?
So I think from there, and they've got to thread it through their AGM, from what they tell me.
I mean, the lease is
Oh,
expired,
that's right.
so they've gone, so it doesn't
I'm not
automatically.
entirely sure why they need to put it before their
It doesn't.
AGM, because they're bound by the terms of the lease.
Yeah, so that we could hear from them to say,
Yeah,
we're not taking the improvements with us. Bye. You know, like that. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
so it'd be good to understand exactly what's required. I don't know, Grant, if you want to come in on that or not, but, just to understand, yeah, exactly what's needed and whether we do have to go through this process of them
Can I just
going
say,
to various committees. I'll just see what Grant's got to.
That's a good question, actually. I would have, my feeling would be that because the lease has expired, it's now in our court and they haven't opted to hold on to the building. So, but I will just check with some of my colleagues in property on that.
I'm thinking we write to them saying,
Yeah.
it's our understanding that given that the building's
Under
not
the
gone
terms
with
of the
you,
lease,
it's now
council and
council, a
MK.
new lease
Yeah.
with them. Yes,
Sorry, they have been doing this sessions here and they've got for the rest of the year in the centre.
Yeah.
All these sessions, so,
great,
which is awesome.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
because it's just a process thing, just so things don't
Yeah.
drag on, okay.
just
um,
in their hands.
just a little point, at our centre council meeting the other day, Senior Net were here, and she mentioned that they can't get onto Skidder, so I think St John's have their own Skidder booking for that building. No,
Oh, for the,
for their building, yeah, so the groups that are currently using that building don't actually know who's booking it when and where anyway, so obviously St John's are cutting a few things off,
All right,
as they're going.
great. We've got an election there, haven't we?
Yeah.
Yep,
Good,
it's called line marking.
yeah.
Has that happened?
Not sure, sorry.
Oh, I'm gonna have a look myself. I know he's done rework, or at least he's done the seal repair, so there should be, they say they're expected to complete it at least by late March. Battle of the Bags. And that went well.
It was great. Yeah, no, really well attended by all, including rugby.
Yeah,
So
so you recovered?
Yeah, most.
FC took it out, but it was mostly populated by Taki kids.
fantastic.
You entertained me again.
Yeah, it's great.
Awesome. And we'll be doing the sports halls renovations shortly in the weeks ahead.
Great.
For winter's. Party for winter?
There were renovation programmed for spring, but they were pushed back in the timeline to accommodate the last
Oh,
battle for the bag.
Yeah, it could have been the end of
October?
the Masters.
Yeah. The Masters, big time. Yeah.
so that's,
Good time.
So it's now programmed.
yeah,
So that was
Do you know
what's
what they're going to do?
They'll be doing, off the top of my head, probably drilling both ways, seed, feed and fur.
Does that mean no practices on the fields during the process now?
So there'll be lots of the cores that they bring up, just to help with the aeration of well, I'm not too technical about the substrate.
Do we know when
So
that's?
it doesn't become too solid and hard to
Yeah.
play on, and
Yeah.
you're doing the rugby as well.
Okay, yeah. We'll give a message out.
I'll give you a nudge, yeah.
Yeah.
I usually give Chris a nudge when it happens,
Great.
and say, look, Nick's just done them.
We'll get a-
Yeah.
Exactly,
give
it's
them a
probably
week or
don't
so.
want that done while they're operating, no.
Who's that extension?
And final days on, sorry, 2nd of April.
So just before football starts.
Hmm.
One side and not the other.
Football starts on,
We'll find out for you. It's one thing I should know.
rugby,
Not end of April. May, the kids.
It's the same, all across the region, we always have this kind of,
yeah.
what's the over on that? Pretty cool that we get the renos done, so.
Someone's got to suffer.
Well, we try and, I know Nick at Nelmack's pretty good at, programming.
Yeah, no, he's very relaxed about it and then complains afterwards.
Probably good
That's
things.
That's why we love them. And I think that concludes it. for us.
Could I just go back, sorry, to that,
Yeah.
the resurfacing the changing room, one of the new rules with the new surfaces, no sprints. That's going to be very hard to police for rugby. Do you know why that is?
Just because of the surfacing, it's just a guideline.
It'd be a hard one to press.
Oh, absolutely, and that's what I said when I
Yeah.
emailed that it's a guideline to try and preserve the floor.
Yeah.
And I totally am aware of,
Yeah,
Does it have a session, like, your hard curing time?
yeah, take a time, we can.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was expecting that, the surface would be able to handle, you know.
yeah, and it kind of can, but that's what they just said, that if you can preserve it, and that's what I said to you the other day, Anthony, it's just a guideline, it's
Yeah.
not a rule.
And it might be. that
And
we-
some players take them off, some don't, so,
Yeah, we can definitely be encouraging taking off before the putting on before the game,
Yeah.
sitting down.
oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it wasn't really the idea.
Would have got fined for that, no boots off,
Yeah, take.
could it be a fine or something?
There might be some,
No, it's fine, because it's exactly the same surface as what Richardson's got, and they
Merch,
can go
no,
traffic
yeah,
through, and
yeah.
they also try and encourage no sprigs in as well, so I was just following guidelines that I've been
Yeah.
instructed from the
Guys
guys.
have a bench outside the door and,
Say they're no man bench when we do.
Yeah, I was
just
thinking.
yeah. Yeah, okay,
Thanks.
that's all, Wayne?
Yep.
Yeah. All right, well, thank you, Rob. Is someone happy to move the resolution that we receive the report?
Yep.
Wayne, yeah, in a second?
Yep.
Anthony, thank you. All those in favour, please say aye. Against, carried. Grant, do you have anything particularly extra before I go around the group?
No, I don't. No, thank you.
We just go around if there's any anything to bring forward.
That I can think of, no.
Cool. We're gonna go walk for a wander with you.
Yeah, no, it's before the show, it's a day help it too, been overcast, one too hot. Not too pretty again. I've done a bit of work up on the grandstand, keeping those bloody sparrows and shit out. So it's nowhere near as bad as what it used to be. Good. So put a board up next to it, or you up there and have a look, see what it's done.
Hmm,
And you just need to have a bit of a walk around and
yeah,
trees over in the cattle protection that you sort of taken down. And the other thing is, disc golf, want to use that over there. Set
Right over
up,
the back where the trees are.
Yeah.
Yeah,
golf,
disc golf,
just,
oh, disco.
yeah, they want to set up, but we want to put sheep in there to keep it down, because they're talking about mowing it, but they only mow the strips down the middle.
yeah.
So then long grass everywhere else, so I've talked to, he's a surveyor.
Alex.
Yeah, and I said, I wouldn't, there's a sheep in there, it probably wouldn't be a problem if you still work using it. I'll just go down to one end.
yeah.
Is it big enough for disc golf?
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah,
Where's when Windshield was gonna go?
They're very accommodating, they'll do anything just to be able to have some
Find
baskets
something.
set up.
Yeah.
To accommodate them in.
People looking for a home, aren't they? Yeah.
But it needs to, I must have sheep over there before Christmas. Going really
Yeah.
long grassy, real untidy.
What kind of grass height do they need to play disc golf?
No,
You know,
no.
not,
Through the
Don't-
year
don't
into the
let-
yeah, I
basket.
know, it's not a, you know, it can be the side of the side,
And then they lose it.
they can't find their thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're just,
Golf ball, yeah,
oh, well, let's have a chat about that.
yeah.
Because when I was liaising with Rob as well and talking to Alexis, they were wanting it mowed, and I said, well, I don't think the council are gonna mow, well, that's what we'd sort of arranged, and I said, if you want to use the area, we're going to talk to you as well and just make a plan, and if you need to have a strip mowed, then it's up to you to mow the strip. And yeah, and it'll just be fun for them to find their discs.
Yeah, I can see.
But the problem is just mow a strip down, not mow between the posts and
Yeah.
Yeah,
areas of,
yeah.
So you'll work it out with
yeah,
them around sheep mowing and golf disc things.
yeah. Or keep sheep in there, or you won't need to mow it then.
No, that's right.
Okay, that's fine. Wayne, anything?
I just got one little thing with these, for, winter sport, when it's so busy, there's so many cars, and there's the overflow parking sort of in front of Brownie's in there. And it always gets marked with a white line, a square there for the overflow parking. But it's not big enough, and no one takes any notice of it, they just drive over top of it and park all along the back there. So I just wonder, is there a reason that has to be put in, or can't you just tell them not to bother doing it and people just park where they like?
We just park, next to the last car, there's 40
Yeah,
cars
you just
over
keep
there, then
going. Yeah, whereas the weird.
Well, there used to be, shanded, couldn't they?
Yeah, there used to be a tape, but people put the tape down, so then they started marking it with white.
Oh, God.
Yeah,
But
that's
everyone
such a
just
deal.
drives
I
over.
know,
I think it was a response to that there's not enough car parking when there's
Yeah,
a
it
day.
was.
And so then someone thought that let's put some Waratahs around and a tape and mark something and here's your, but actually just don't do anything, we
no,
just
don't do
park like
anything.
we have for 30 years.
I was watching,
Fucking on the day, not to market.
these,
Would that be better?
Yeah,
Dave, don't
it's
mark it.
it's a time and a
Yeah.
cost if it doesn't need to be
no,
there.
No, appreciate that.
oh,
Thanks,
it's a
mate.
far better atmosphere having all the utes parked up along the back.
It
of
is.
the Dry line and,
Pretty funny.
you know,
Well,
watching Wanderers lose.
Did the same at cricket, who, did that?
Yeah.
Sit on the line, it's all
Yeah,
that.
no, let's not do it.
Yeah.
All right.
No, fair enough.
Cool.
So,
Well, they seem to do great.
mm.
Anything from? The side, please? Great.
You have to say something.
I'm not supposed to speak.
Am I allowed to speak? I'm not on the list. We're not on the
Yeah,
list.
yeah, well, this is an informal part of it, I guess, but it's be good to hear from you about how things have been going and.
We've had a big year with 75 kids registered. Thank goodness it's sort of like take it down. Because otherwise it's too many kids and you just can't teach them. But we would love to look at putting in a all-weather track on the long jump, but it just depends on where the lines are for the rugby field.
Yeah.
So we'd love to look at.
Is that something that your club would pay for?
Yeah,
Only place to put it would be along the trees towards, on the other side of that toilet.
yeah. I'm just wondering if it could be where the existing one is, because it doesn't matter if there's a bit of foot traffic on the track.
You're on the rugby paddock, don't you?
Yeah, I'm not sure where the line is with the rugby.
Yeah, so that'll be something to work out with Rob, I think, eh? The department, isn't it?
The lovely government over there, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's good, isn't it?
Yeah,
You can find somewhere to have it or not.
yeah, it just gives the kids a bit more edge when they're, got them with the track to run on. Otherwise, if the grass just slows them down, it's hard surface as well.
Yeah.
So,
Have you had enough parents and adults coming along to?
yeah,
There
we're
is
struggling with
some,
that. There's still
yeah.
a bit of a babysitter place.
Ooh. Ooh,
Mm.
have got for their
It's like with every sport, and you have the same volunteers, don't you?
Yeah, same
And the
volunteers,
same people whinging.
same people win.
Really
Yeah,
good.
but, yeah. No, we've had some nice neighbours too.
Huge numbers, eh? It's very successful, isn't it? Yeah.
Look at a second day, maybe.
Oh.
So,
We're doing a few training sessions.
They have to move the long jump.
Hmm.
I'll do some head scratching,
Mm.
bit of homework, but,
It's just that along those trees, it's very wet and boggy
oh, yeah.
and shady and rough.
You know what you probably, you, solve the problem, right?
Only a certain amount of it.
Yeah.
If it's in the way of the rugby pitch and we had to move it, where would be your preferred location?
Yeah.
So what are you talking about? Concrete it or just,
No, it's like a rubberized sort of track.
oh,
Yeah, it's not concrete at all, it's rubber, so it's a like Saxon field.
Where it stays down permanently? Yeah.
Can you move it once it's in?
No.
It goes down and you
Yeah.
can't get it up again.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
What's it? What's it made of, rubber? Not asphalt?
It's like Saxon's field, it's sort of a
Oh,
rubberized.
oh, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah,
right,
the workforce stuff.
Yeah,
right.
Okay.
What's around the playground, isn't it? Yeah, the porn play stuff.
yeah. Yes, it is.
Let's have a chat about it then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can work it out.
Action point there, thank you.
Yeah, because where the location is at the moment, it's absolutely perfect. And it's, we can access if we need to water it down, we can access the, tap
Mm,
from the toilets and stuff.
mm.
If
Okay.
you couldn't go the other way
Something.
from the ditch, instead of going from the pit.
So right next to the toilet comes ditch, no,
When we,
No, running towards the football ditch.
Yeah.
oh my God, oh, I see.
we do a wander around, let's have a bit of a look, but it's something I think for you to work something out.
Sure, we'll figure something out.
Cool, thank you.
Netball, no, nothing really. Our season's just beginning. There's gonna be sevens and eights out on the court on Tuesdays, so, yeah,
So you're asking for the cups back,
yeah,
you winners,
yeah. Hopefully.
annual saga.
I think beach by
Yeah.
sometimes.
So we're starting early.
Thank you. No, football.
Just we were on the walk around, just have a look at the trees and everything along the boundary between football and rugby, and to try and maybe come to a more of a cohesive integration of the two as well, because we could feel quite separated down there, even if we
It's
get
best
some out.
separated from after the weekend, sorry, because I was there, yeah.
You don't feel connected to the football.
All right.
Long room.
Wrong.
Long room.
Wrong place.
Yeah, there is no between rugby and football, and just on the big club days, it'd create more of an atmosphere, I think, having.
Yeah, I totally get what you mean.
Can I ask, is it visual?
Visual.
Yeah.
Yeah, because obviously there's a ditch in between, so it's not going to be an access route, it's more of just a cohesive.
So the trees,
Just cut trees.
Yeah,
it's not the trees then?
not all of the big trees, because there would be nice shade and.
No, no, yeah.
Shrub underneath it.
Oh, right,
Yeah.
okay.
We'll have a look.
Yeah.
It's part of the walk around.
Yeah.
And the other idea is obviously there's the continual lack of storage being shared between different codes. So we did have an idea of getting some ideas from council of how this could be done. And obviously at our cost of putting on some form of temporary building for storage facility for gear. And
I think a 20-foot container, you think?
not a container,
Oh,
no,
right,
temporary
you're right.
building, yeah.
We need to think
Yeah,
about
we would need
the
to.
value, that's all.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So I'm gonna look at that when we wander around
Yeah.
after the conversation around storage.
yeah,
After the meeting closes, which is shortly, we're gonna have another conversation
Yeah.
around storage options.
yeah, it's just a visual to me, if we can make it look pretty.
Yeah, that would
We'll
be
use
our,
what we've got.
and we would like to put in like a barbecue and maybe even like an area that we could be
Yeah,
selling drinks to the kids after the game kind of thing. Just, yeah, part of that, so.
I mean, doesn't require a consent.
Doesn't require a consent, yeah, and something that is obviously removable.
Runs, Hockenfield, the old Hockenfield.
Mr. Wendell.
Windows?
Windows,
This
and
is-
the board
this is
leases it from them.
So it's not council land, so you can put something on there, couldn't you?
That would be a
No.
different, yeah, we're thinking more on the
No,
council
you
land side.
can't,
Why?
because it's part of the lease.
Position.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think a lot of the storage within the stadium is at full capacity,
Yeah.
but clubs need to realise too that it is not for old jerseys from 1920.
Yeah.
You know, like, we need to get some of it out but it's that whole thing too, is it's the same volunteers are the ones that have got to try and tidy it up,
Organise it.
get it or move it from A to B,
Yeah.
and there's no time.
Yeah.
Well, this would be moving us from that whole big
Yeah.
storage shed.
Mm.
And then it, yeah, with lockup and things as well, would
Yeah.
change that. So,
Mm.
But we're taking our stuff out of there. And
Yeah.
it's just-
I know basketball
It's
loves
trying to-
them,
Mm.
and pickleball with Saturday wants some, and.
Oh,
Yeah.
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 So that's the other part of the equation, sort of, is what you are storing as clubs.
Yeah.
Does it need to be stored there, and is it stuff that's sits unused from season to season, and, you know,
Yeah.
I don't know, do something else with it, or,
I try very hard, but I understand that they, you know,
yeah.
it's just very difficult, yeah.
All right. Part of our post-meeting conversation too.
To me, so two things.
You want from storage now?
The homeschool group has asked if they can use our equipment, which we're sort of like not sure about, but that means handing over a key to them.
What are you asking?
Key.
Other groups.
I think so, not.
Can I please say something, just for, yeah, I
The
have,
juniors have got
Yeah.
them.
and I love them being here. But they too have to realise, they seem to think that there's a stigma within Golden Bay about homeschoolers, like as soon as people say, but they're not inclusive. Some of them are not inclusive. So they could potentially join athletics.
Yeah, a lot of them are.
Yeah, and I think that they just need to understand that sometimes that if you choose to be homeschool your children, there are going to be disadvantages. And they can't just throw that flag that you're discriminating against them because we're having the same issue in here. They use the stadium and they use the gear, and we don't have some of the gear that they want. They want us to buy it, but they don't want to contribute to it.
Yeah.
And so I've just had to say, well, look, if you want anything else, you need to contribute. There's grants out there that they
Yeah.
can get, and then they'll turn around and say, well, who's going to do that? So they just need to be
Bit
a little
naive,
bit more realistic.
Yeah, a bit
But
naive, I think, yeah.
Yeah, there's basketball, they say that it's on at the wrong time, they don't want to pay the
Yeah.
$80.
Yes, so I think,
No.
that's a whole culture war, but, I think that, you know, if they want the kids, because that idea of homeschooling being completely insulated, my kids can't go
Yeah.
to athletics without, so I think that's, you know, you sound like you're a bit nervous to say to them, no, we don't want to give you a key, and
Well, that's
I
not
think it's really
necessarily
reasonable to say, actually, there's
Yeah.
these sporting activities on, and if your kids want to come to athletics,
Yeah.
that's the time to come, but
Yeah.
you know, you're not required to, you put a lot of work into getting that gear and do what you do, and I
It's a
think
lot of money.
It's worth a lot of money, but my concern was that it was not just us in the building, it's this rugby, although yours is all locked up, isn't it?
No.
But it's insane, yeah, that was my concern, was security for others.
And this is under the grandstand area.
Yeah.
So I think that, you know, I would be comfortable with those of you that have got gear stored under there, if that's an arrangement with, well, council.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's like, well, we wouldn't expect you to be giving your key to other groups and people just going
It's
in
like a
there.
third party thingy. yes.
So, you know, I think that's a reason to say, look,
Yeah.
just bring the kids to athletics.
Yeah,
And they could come as a group if that's what's.
yeah, we're happy to, let it happen, something once a blue moon, like the Gombay High School's having the athletics up here on the
Mhm.
26th?
20, somewhere.
Next
Last Friday.
Friday, anyway. So that we're there, and the same thing has happened with the primary school. But,
Yes.
this was like every week and starts showing up.
But you've got volunteers there who will be
Yeah.
overseeing the use of the equipment.
Yeah,
Whereas they're, from my understanding, wanting to use it
yeah.
when it suits them,
Mm.
when
Yeah.
nobody's there to oversee.
And also train them as well, that like, there's no coaches that actually do it properly.
Yeah.
And then,
I think it's reasonable for clubs, you know, you put all the effort in for bloody decades to
yeah,
get what you have, and, you know, a lot of you have worked tirelessly to achieve
Mm.
what's here
yeah,
and other places in the bay. It's a hell of a lot of effort and commitment.
yeah. It's,
And I think it's a bit unreasonable for people to want to about us come in and say, well, can we use that too? So
yeah,
join the group.
Especially if it's open to them to come any other time, like to come to your club,
Yeah.
join your club.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
and
Does that help you with your?
yes, well, my concern
Yeah.
was the security situation.
Well, that's certainly a thing
Yeah.
for me, but to think that he's going out to other people who might then give it to someone else.
Mm.
Yeah,
The people who've got permission to have storage under there, we expect, you know, that's who's got the key.
the other thing is, we were wondering about changing to a Tuesday night because there's an athletics competition that happens for the seniors on a Wednesday night at Sackville Field. So it takes, you know, some of their kids would quite like to go, only Ruby goes at the moment, but some of our other kids could go. So if we move to Tuesday night, that would overcome that situation. What else is on Tuesday night?
It was touch, but you get going this year.
Yeah, and that could swap to Wednesday, would that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, that's an option.
Thursday,
Thursday.
Friday.
They're quite happy with that.
Kudos to the Kiwi.
Oh, I,
Hey,
yeah. Good to watch.
I think Stoke is still smart, eh?
Oh,
The singing was great here.
It's a real opportunity if those kids come on a Tuesday, then they can go, oh,
yeah,
Wednesday.
yeah.
Mm.
I guess I've always had that problem, but, yeah, sort of, yeah, need to look at it more, but it's good to know it's an option. We're just voting the idea of meet at the meeting. So
Yeah. Okay, anything else?
I think I'm done.
Think you're done now? All right. You've got a little something in your back pocket to say, sorry, can't give you the key.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as everyone's doing the same, got the same approach,
That's right.
Yeah.
I guess,
I'm happy to help them out and everything like that, but it's,
Just don't, it's not you, because
No.
that's what I've had to take a step back, it's not
Yeah.
me.
Mm.
It's actually, there's all those sports out there and they are available to them. It's them putting the walls up.
they can use the track, they can use the long.
Absolutely.
But it's the discus, they need the nets up and such.
Yeah.
But
And
that's
see, that just all comes into health and
Yeah.
safety as
Yeah.
well, so.
I think we're pretty resolved around this.
Yeah.
Yeah, great, all right, there's nothing further. We passed the resolution for your report. Thanks, Ryan, for coming over and doing our minutes and organising us. I'll bring the meeting to a close with Kanaki and then we'll start with the storage things that you and I spoke about during the week.
Yep.
And have a conversation out
That's a good
the sides on
opportunity.
there. Okay. Kanaki Tato, thanks everybody, appreciate you coming away from work, for a lot of you to, you know, make time to be here. Very good of you. Kia ora te marino, kia whakapapa paunamu te moana, aroha atu, aroha mai, tēnā tātou, tēnā tātou, tēnā tātou katoa. Let calm go forth, the sea shines like the greenstone, goodwill's been exchanged, and acknowledgements to all of us here. Thanks, Grant.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thanks, Margot.
I think it's lovely.